Hey everybody, welcome to a little experiment that I want to try here on my channel. I have been doing so much creative work behind the scenes, and one of the things I've been getting back into is voiceover work and narration. I thought I need some practice, and my clients have been telling me about just feeling really overloaded with information. I have been back into a reading, binging bonanza lately, and I've been consuming a ton of material. And I thought, you know what would be really cool is if I take some of the passages that really stick out to me and I read them to you here on my channel. We talk a little bit about it through our business lens, and then you can kind of get a preview of some of these books and decide if this is something you really want to read. Maybe there's some medicine in some of these books for you, and maybe you discover that the thing that all these people have been talking about is something that you're like, maybe I don't need it so much. Thanks, Mary. Thanks for reading that passage. I got what I needed. I can go check out something else that means a lot more to me. What we're going to do today is we're going to take a book that really made its rounds in the femme-centered spaces around the business community, like about a year, 2 years ago. The book is by Carolyn Elliott. It's called Existential Kink. Don't worry, this is not like, this is not audio erotica fiction here. Okay. Well, this is a self-development book. One of the things that she talked about in a passage early on really addressed a lot of the things that I work on with my coaching clients in terms of how to discern where ego ends and intuition begins, and how to really find yourself. There seems to be a really big season right now of people trying to find themselves, which I am totally for, and not to just sound like everyone else or be like everyone else. And it's like, well, where does that come from? Well, it comes from a pretty personal, intimate part of yourself. And this particular book really talks about it. So if you like it, you too can go to your library and go and check it out. I might have some more passages from this for other videos, but that way then you're not sitting through like an entire book that's being narrated. You can just kind of hear some of the high points and then just really get a chance to reflect this week on how this might help you get a little more unstuck in your identity as a business owner, because I feel like this passage is really going to help with that. So with that, let me read to you. Sit back, get comfortable. It's going to be like 5 minutes of book reading. Here we go. Let's revisit that incredibly important observation by Carl Jung that I mentioned earlier. Until you make your unconscious conscious, it will rule your life and you will call it fate. In other words, the emotions and desires and positions that our ego disowns inevitably haunt us personally and collectively by generating painful synchronous experiences that urge us to confront and reintegrate the disdained side of a polarity. This is what Jung's predecessor, Sigmund Freud, called the return of the repressed. Polarities include all sets of opposites: masculine and feminine, fire and ice, night and day, violence and healing, creation and destruction, good and evil, fulfillment and deprivation, power and powerlessness, etc. Let me give you an example. Most of us have grown up in a society that exalts wealth, and we have disowned and denied the other side of the polarity, a love of scarcity. In doing so, we make our love of scarcity unconscious, and thus scarcity synchronously shows up in our lives until we agree to consciously, deliberately, insanely, shamelessly love it. The great work involves making the unconscious conscious, and thus changing the locus of our agency and taking charge of our own fate. To change the locus of your agency means to stop aligning yourself with your ego's one-sided choices. The ego tends to want only what it labels the good stuff, and to instead align yourself with the kinkier, more adventurous choices of the underlying total divine presence that we all are, the strange, vast self which enjoys and is very curious about absolutely everything. To do this, we have to greatly humble our ego's denial and fictional, if we were feeling feisty, we might even say delusional, sorting of all experience into good, what appears to benefit me, and bad, what appears to not benefit me. When we succeed in this, the ego loses layers of its absorption in the fiction of separation and comes more and more to see itself as just a particular, rather funny expression of a much larger divine whole, the self. The self with a capital S is the primal selfhood of everything and everyone, which is paradoxically also our own real inner selfhood. This is so because the self is infinite consciousness. It's as if all of us humans are light bulbs and the self is electricity that powers us. In becoming more identified with this underlying whole that we share with everyone, we paradoxically become more uniquely individual because we become free of our attachment to conventional, solely prescribed roles. In waking up out of our absorbing fiction of separation, we link up the gigantic sexual taboo electrical energy, the Shakti, the turn-on, in our bodies with the most inspired ideals and intentions. Then our ideals and our intentions gain the high voltage electric oomph that they've been previously missing. The more you fulfill the great work, the better you get at actual material manifestation in the world. So the question that I would give to a client with this particular passage from this book this week is to ask, how much are you in your body right now? Do you need to do some work outside of your business, whether it's simply healthcare like fitness or it's somatic therapy? So that's something I've been doing a lot of in the last 2 years to help regulate your nervous system so that you can get comfortable actually feeling this feeling in your body. And I think once you get there, I know that once you get there, a lot of things change in how you make decisions for your business. You stop questioning, should I do this thing? Should I make that offer? Do I like working with this audience? It becomes just abundantly clear what it is you want. And it also becomes abundantly clear who you are. I can tell you that in my own life, by doing somatic therapy and healthcare and getting back into fitness and being fully in my body, it has helped me utilize my natural, it's very strong intuitive gifts in a much deeper way. It's cut through a lot of the bullshit in my business. It's helped me get back into work, like doing audio narration, voiceover, podcasting, so much more. And it's made me feel extremely free in the process of doing that. And as a result, it's made the process of building that in a sustainable way a lot easier. And by sustainable, I also mean the act of making money, which we need. It is a system of the world to pay rent, to put food on the table, to live a fulfilling life. These are the things we seek when we're building a business. And there's something very cool about this book. I do not think you need to be a woman in order to read this book or identify as a woman. I think it's good for everybody. I am noticing with the gents in my audience that these types of topics in this way are something that's been craved. So picking up this book might be a really great choice for you this month. And with that, I'll just encourage you to let me know if there are other passages you know from this book that you would like me to read out loud on the mic. And or if there are other books that you've been curious about, maybe you've already read them and you just want to hear me read it to you. Or maybe it's a book you're not sure you want to read, in which case I'll read it and I'll find some passages and you can hear them and decide if that's a book you want to invest your time in. I love content. I consume a lot of content every week. And for me, it's not overwhelming. But I know for a lot of the people who are magnetized towards me, it is overwhelming, and it's probably that polarity that makes it work between us. So with that, I hope you enjoyed that passage. Thanks for coming along with me on this experiment. I will be reading a lot more things on the mic, and I will see you next week. If you heard this and you really liked it, I would encourage you to go take a look at the video description below this video and to click the link to subscribe to my Saturday email newsletter. It's totally free. There's something for everybody in there, but also you get a free tarot and Akashic reading for your business every week inside that newsletter. So I will encourage you to go there if you would like to stay connected. I will see you on Saturday in your inbox. Have a wonderful week. Remember to be sensible, be woo, and always, always, always be you.